Happy Sunday. It's a good Sunday for coffee. I'm on my second cup, so I might be moving a little slow today. It takes me usually 2 or 3 before I'm really in here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about guys and gals, people, you here in the chat and in the replay, about why your videos may not be getting a lot of views, why people aren't watching them on YouTube. And I think you'll be surprised at the angle I'm coming at. I think a lot of times I've talked on this channel about, packaging your videos, what you do once you put them onto YouTube. And I talk a lot in my private members only group about things to do to make sure that your content is connecting with your target audience. But one of the things I think people don't always pay attention to is the fact that there's 9 million things you should be doing before you ever publish a video that will determine whether or not your video is actually going to get people to watch it. First of all, let me say hi to some of the people who are out here. I can see Success is the Goal, one of our channel members right there. We've got Kriyal Vlogs. Hi from Nepal. Well, hello from New England. There we go. Hi, Uncle. I'm a big fan of you. Editor Azil. It's nice to see you all in here. Then there's, as always, the lovely Megan to hold the chat together. Here's one of the things that I think I fail at. I'm going to start right off with some of my failures. Is the channel that I'm building has always been designed to teach people how to edit better videos, figure out how to use preferably simple software, learn how to make better edits, and then learn how to put them onto YouTube and grow a YouTube channel. And I think sometimes I fragment the audience because some people just want to learn about the editing and some people just want to learn about how to grow a YouTube channel. And I'm not always successful at connecting the two. And that could be because of the blouse I'm wearing. My friend Marlon, White Noise Studio. Thanks for the super chat, Marlon. He's German, apparently in German. Das ist ein Blouse. So I'm going to call it a hoodie today, but we'll go with blouse again. That's the new running joke. Anything I wear for a shirt is a blouse. So what I want to talk to you all about today is have a discussion about how you're structuring these videos. What are you doing when you're actually putting them together? Because what you're going to find is, I think a lot of people think, if I get the thumbnail right, if I get the title right, if I nail that, then I'm good. But the other half of that equation is what viewers do after they click. I mean, are you keeping them watching? What have you done in the video? The packaging and everything, the title, the topic, the thumbnail, that can win the click. That can compel the viewer to go, that looks interesting. I think I'll watch that. That seems interesting to me. And they'll click and they'll watch something that they think they might, that they might want to check out. But what happens afterwards is if you can't grab them and keep them watching that video, and structure a video in a way, and that all comes down to your edit, in a way that really holds on to those viewers, then what happens is they click away quickly and you lose all that audience retention data. That's the stuff that is the other half of the equation. That's the stuff that fuels things like positioning in search or showing up in suggested or showing up in browse. Because if the content isn't keeping them, isn't grabbing and then holding on to them, then you've lost the other half of the equation, right? It's like having the best packaged new cookie, but the cookie tastes like crap, right? So they're like, "Oh, this looks awesome." They bite it once and go, "No, it's horrible. I hate it. I'm not gonna eat that." So you really want to think about how you can keep them watching, and that all starts before you've ever put your video up on YouTube or TikTok or wherever you might be publishing a video to. Amar, how you doing, pal? So let's start right here. Let's start right here from some very simple things. I think that we've had a lot of discussions about thumbnails and packaging, especially if you're a channel member. We've done a lot of content about packaging your videos and talking about how to get them into suggested, how to get them into browse. We had a great discussion yesterday, as a matter of fact. But one of the biggest things that I think that we don't talk about enough is failure to deliver on the promise of the packaging, okay? It's one thing to get your target and your thumbnail and your title right, but then delivering on the promise is all about the edit. It's all about how you edit your videos and how you structure them and how you put them together. Let me ask a simple question here. Of everybody that's in the chat right now, how many of you are using an intro, in some kind of intro in your video where you maybe have branding, a little music, a little flash of a brand thing, Any kind of intro. Give me a yes if you're using an intro, and give me a no if you're not using an intro. I want to see what kind of balance we have here. Project MV semi-retired. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Love this channel. Love you. I appreciate the you showing up, and I appreciate the super chat. That really helps me do the thing that I'm doing. So let me quickly check what we got for answers. I'm seeing yes. I'm seeing not me. I'm seeing yes, 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 yes. There's a lot of yeses here. Yes, yes, yes. Short intro. I've got a no. We've got, so we seem to have a lot more yeses than we have no's. We do have some no's, but we have a lot of yeses. Andy says an affirmative no. No, Sid doesn't, no, yes. So we're back and forth. We even have a sometimes. Yeah, you know, sometimes. When the mood hits me. Michael says, you know, sometimes an intro. So we have another 50-50 here from the Big Balloon Festival. Okay, so I think we're doing about a 75% yes, people saying, yeah, I've got an intro. Let me ask you one other question. How many channels in here, and we're going to do this by the words over or under. Post that in the chat. How many people are over 50,000 subscribers? And how many people in the chat right now are under 50,000 subscribers? Do over if you're over 50,000 subscribers, and under if you're under 50,000 subscribers. And I guess right at 50,000 if you're actually at 50, if you just did 50 and you're right on it. Give me an over under there. My friend Dano. How you doing, Dano? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see you, pal. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm just trying to do a little catch up here. I've got under. I've got one here, my pal, Creaky Blinder, over, significantly over, doing very well. Under. Everywhere I click, I'm seeing under. Sorry, I don't want to take away your screen time, especially RV Hobbs. Video game wrestling, under. I'm seeing a lot of under, right? Editor, okay. He let me talk. Even the great Doug Houston, who makes crazy great content, still is under 50,000. I don't mean that as a bad way. It's not a bad thing. Tinkerman Mick, he's over because he's crushing it. He just passed 100,000 subscribers. But the vast majority of creators on the platform are under 50,000. It's a very hard goal to hit. So the reason I ask you those two things, how many people are using intros, and then how many people, where you're at on the scale, because over 50,000 is a lot. It's real. That's a tough goal to get to. It takes a lot of time and work. So congratulations to anybody who has crossed it, and anyone under it. Please don't feel like that you're not doing great, because I think getting to 1,000 subscribers is a ton of work. 10,000 is really hard, and everything just it gets easier once you get the momentum going. But that initial run, that's where all the hard part is, right at the beginning, trying to get maybe from 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, and 1,000 to 10,000. Probably is the toughest struggle there. But the reason I ask is, think about this. For everybody who said, yeah, I have an intro. Why do you have an intro? Why would you have an intro? I'm always interested to learn why people think they need an intro in their video. Because I think that on YouTube, you need to be really specific about what you're doing and intentional. Because again, once that viewer starts watching your video, be intentional about what you're doing. I'd love to know why anyone wants to shout something out. I'm going to be reading this along. I have my own take. Hey, Tinkerman Mick, thanks for the super chat, my super sticker, my friend. And congrats again on just crushing it with shorts. I love watching the way you build, man. Super appreciated. I see different people do intros for different reasons, and this is my gut. I think the main reason people do intros is because they've seen other creators do it, and they think they're supposed to. That's literally what I think. When someone does an intro, a specific, with their branding play, they think they've seen it somewhere, and they think that that's important. My pal Paul says, the gurus used to recommend an intro 3 to 4 years back. I don't know who specifically you're referring to, but I don't question that one bit. I'm going to tell you this. When you think about an intro, what's the purpose of the intro? To get people to realize what your channel is, what you're about? Well, if they've clicked on your video, they found it somewhere in search or browse or recommended somewhere. It had your channel name right under the video. That was right there. It couldn't get more branded than that. When you started talking and you started speaking to the person once they clicked the video, You are your brand. So you start letting them know exactly what you're about and where they're at the minute you start talking. You are your brand. Best hair in the game, Batal. Silky smooth. Still a little wet. I just got out of the shower. It's been a long week. So thank you for the super chat, Justin. Silky smooth. What I'm trying to get to here, intentionality. If someone clicks on a video and they're expecting something and you start with something else, you spend time here. Let me talk about me. My gut for anyone who's under 50,000 subscribers, lose your intros. Lose your intros. I think they waste the viewer's time. And I think a lot of times if we look at data graphs, when we see like the audience retention, the beginning of the video is where the vast amount of viewers are lost, where they decide not to continue watching. So that first 8 seconds is like pivotal. You need to bring them in, grab them, hold on to them, and make sure that you don't lose them. Amar, hey, my friend, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Amar, do you have an intro? Are you using an intro in your videos? I'm one of those people who says, because I get a lot of people come to me and say, Daniel, show me how to make an intro in Filmora. And I've done it, but I kind of cringe at it because I don't use intros in my videos. I just start them and I get right to the thing. I'm like, what are we talking about today? Are we turning ourselves into Annoying Orange? Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to do it right off the bat. You're going to start by seeing me as Annoying Orange or whatever the thing is. I get right to it and show people that thing that you thought you were going to get when you click the video. It starts right away. It's right. You're right into the action scene. And I think that that's really important to think about. I'm not saying that you should remove all your intros if you think it's doing something, but using your retention reports will tell you when you're structuring your video. When you're structuring your video, do you need it in there? Because this is part of your edit. Think about your edit. And I would say think about maybe taking them out and see if it improves your audience retention. So taking them out is something you would do in your edit. Think about, do I need that intro? Does that need to be there? Is that helping move this content along? Is that getting people to watch longer? Or are they like, yeah, enough with the intro already. Get to the thing. Because I think most people are. I don't even pay attention. It's like a commercial for me. When I see a commercial on TV, I'm like, skip. That's why I pay for premium on YouTube. I don't want to see ads. I just skip. Just give me the stuff. So I think that's one of the things that I would pay attention to when you're thinking about structure. Intros, if you got them, why? And if you don't have a really good reason that you can back up with data, well, it helps get my branding name out there. Really? How can you prove it? If it isn't, take it out. Lose it. Cut it right out. Another thing, when you make videos, how many of you, give me a yes or a no, how many people say one of these two things? Welcome back to the channel, or something to the effect of, hey, you guys, or hey, everyone, and then address the group so that they know you're talking to them. Do you do either one of those things? Either welcome back to the channel, or hey, you guys, or hey, everyone, or hey, group, whatever you call your group. PewDiePie, you may be a different PewDiePie, says yes. Oztech3000 says yes, got a yes. From, I'm not going to, Vetraselvin, I'm sorry about that. I can't pronounce anything. Me, Shelly B, yes, no. Blaine says no. Interesting, Blaine. Nope, I get another nope. I get a sometimes from the Crazy Car Mechanic. And yes, here's one of the, Albie says no. I see yes here, yes here. Think about this. When someone is watching your video, I would like to think that everybody, when I publish a video, that you all call each other and then you get in a room and you go, okay, you ready to hit play? Let's all hit play together because Daniel has a new video out. Something tells me that's not really happening. The reality is that most people are sitting there with a mobile device, right? Holding a phone, and they're just kind of by themselves and they're watching. It's you and it's them. It's one person. One of the things I would recommend is when you're speaking to your audience, it's one thing when we're in here and there's a bunch of us talking together in chat and people might watch this on the replay, but whenever I make a video, I'm very careful about how I address the audience. I never say welcome back to the channel because the fastest way to grow a channel is by reaching people who don't know who you are and aren't subscribed. So if I say welcome back to the channel, they go, what do you mean welcome back? I've never even been here before. First time here. And then if I say, hey, all you guys, I feel like I've taken you, the viewer, and I've thrown you in the back of the auditorium. right? I've lumped you in with a bunch of people. What I try to do is I speak right through the camera to one person, whoever is watching my video at that time. So I'll use things like, I'll say you, right? Hey, if you want to learn how to do this in Filmora, or if you want to learn how to make better thumbnails, or if you want to learn how to get your video to show up in suggested or browse, you. And the great thing about you is it's singular and plural. Right? You can say this, you can look at 100 people and go, how are you doing? How are you all doing, right? How are you? And you're talking to a bunch of people. But you can look at one person and say, how are you? I like keeping it simple. Remember who you're talking to. Understand the viewer who's actually consuming your video. So when you're making the content and you are talking to those people as a whole bunch of people, and there's only one guy there, it's like, how's everyone doing? The guy's with his phone going, me and the people on the bus, I can ask them. I can see how they're doing, right? Really, really important to think about what you're doing. I say hi YouTube or on hi TikTok. That I don't hate that, but I think it's a little impersonal. You're talking to the platform, right? Why not think about hero? Why not think about talking direct? If I'm watching your video, why do you say YouTube? Because I'm not YouTube. I'm not TikTok. I just happen to be using that platform. So why wouldn't you look at me and say, hey, glad to have you here. Let me show you something. Let me talk about something. Think about that, because you're talking directly to real human beings. And I think sometimes that gets lost. I think people get wrapped up in the platform or in what they think what they're supposed to be doing. John Pullum says, hey, you guys, makes me think of the Goonies. Hey, you guys. Amar, thank you again for the super chat, Amar. That's very nice of you. Love your videos, Daniel. Love from India. May God bless you, sir. Man, I hope he blesses me. I need all the help I can get. Any blessings are appreciated. Have you seen me? I need all the help. Yeah, see, Morgan says, I say hello, everybody. But the person watching isn't everybody. They're a singular person. Think about making that person feel special. Talk directly to that person. Right? Really, really important. In this video, I'm going to and start. That's cool too. I don't have anything against that, Albie, to go like in this video. It's funny. I tend to not do things like in this video, because what happens is people know they're watching a video. So to say in this video, if I mention that it's a video, I feel like I'm being redundant. I try to trim that out. I try to say things like, have you ever wondered, have you ever thought, have you, and I'll introduce, trying to get to think like the viewer, right? What are they thinking? If they've clicked on my video, they're expecting something. So if I'm making a tutorial on something like let's say it was how to get your video to show up more in suggested on YouTube, then I'll start right there, and I'll use those kind of sentiments and get right to it and say, if you're wondering how you can get your video to show up in suggested more often, there's a couple things you want to pay attention to, and jump right into it. If you're wondering, and then the very thing we're talking about. I don't say in this video, because I feel like we're in the video. It's like setting up the fact that, I'm reminding you're watching a video. So I try to be a little more specific, but whatever works, but think about really addressing that viewer. Another thing here, let me get you in the chat. Let me see who's doing this. How many of you in the first 30 seconds of your video ask people to do any of the following? Subscribe, leave a like, comment, share that video out, or maybe have like Twitter and Instagram links that are down underneath, like little icons that might say like Instagram. You can find me. Is any of that stuff? How many of you are using things like that where you're asking someone, you're trying to convert like someone to subscribe, like, share, comment, or anything like that? Is there anyone asking? Mike says, nope, don't do that. Ace Rocks Tech says, nope, and nope. The Big Balloon Festival says, nope. Only at the end says hero. Only at the end. Okay. Never. I get from excellent to sometimes. Froggen, I'm saying that right? The one is an I. Froggen FX says yes. Nope. And Blaine says no. And Morgan says not at the start. Okay, this is good. Not in the first 3 minutes. I like this idea. For anyone out there who may be doing this, and I think that more people do this than they remember. They go, oh, well, I guess, I do say like, hey, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe, or don't forget to hit the like. Here's one thing you want to think about. When someone clicks on your video, they're there to get something. They're looking for something for them. So the minute you ask them to do anything, any kind of an ask before you ever provided any value is going to push a viewer away. Because if you say like, hey, welcome back to the channel, you guys, like 2 strikes right there. Today we're going to talk about this after this 3-minute intro. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Then the music intro starts, right? Then we get into the, we'll be right back after my intro. Right. You know what that is. So what I want to tell you is think about all that stuff at the beginning. Think about just getting to it. Because if you're asking someone to do something before you've given them any value or any reason for them to do anything, they're going to go, no, I don't want to do that. If someone ran up to you in a parking lot and said, hey, buy this. I want you to buy this. You'd go, whoa, stand back. I don't even know what that is. I'm just trying to go inside the store. Leave me alone. Right. But if someone had, like, inside of the store, there was a stand that was all set up and it's got like free samples of our new breakfast sausage. And the person said, hey, are you a breakfast eater? Are you interested? I've got some free samples right here. You want to try nothing? You want to try this new breakfast sausage we have? Maybe you'll wander over and go, yeah, I'll try a piece. That looks kind of good, right? Because they're giving you something before they're asking anything in return. Same is true for the way that you edit your videos. Think about in the edit. If you're doing that stuff, pull it out. Pull it out. Right here, Eric Waite, my pal Eric Waite, Whiskey Study says, give, then ask is a Gary V principle. And Gary V is spot on, man. He's just, it's just one of those things, and Kathy nailed it. So true. I get put off. It's like, why? That's it. You really have to think about the viewer. And this is one of the things. I think a lot of people do this and they don't even realize they're doing it. I think we've all seen other creators do it. Put intros in. Talk about, hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here's my intro. Now, hey, well, if your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And there's all these asks. I gotta be careful. All of these asks before you've given any value to the viewer. And this is the reason a lot of viewers will be like, this may be a good video, but I'm out. They didn't get to the point. They took too long in the edit, right? I saw the thumbnail. I saw the title. It looked interesting. But I watched the first 10 seconds and I was out for, I think, 8 seconds, and people will leave. Everybody here know what a hook is when we talk about hooks? Yes, if you know what a hook is and you're using a hook, give me a yes in the chat. If I say hook and you go kind of, give me a no. Talk about that. Yes, you know what a hook is and you're using hooks. Are you using hooks effectively? Robot Rye says, yep, right there, right on it. I know exactly what it is. Badass Chef Club says yes. Michelle B, yes. Steve's Stray Stuff says no. Nat English says no. We also have Tony32 saying no. Here's a real honest answer. Jessica Compton says yes, but not good at them. This is the kind of thing that I think is really important because I said, like, that first 8 seconds, super important. Trying to get that really dialed in can make all the difference between a video that does really well or a video that kind of loses people in that initial 8 seconds or so. Think about how you can really grab them right from the beginning. I think my hooks are weak, possibly, because there's different types of hooks. Here's the thing, taste the world, right? I'm reading right. First of all, I love your avatar because I can read it. Street food, local cuisine, right? If I was looking at one of your videos and let's say it was talking about, let's say something like, I don't know, maybe you're doing food trucks, right? The cantina trucks. And you were doing a video about some of the best cantina trucks in a certain region. I'm not saying you are, but let's say you did. The first thing I'd want to know is if you're talking about an area, I would start it with something like, if you're a fan of cantina trucks and finding some of the best street food in Los Angeles, today we're going to scour the city and get it down to the top 5 cantina trucks that you should be frequenting, right? Like, start with a hook that really speaks to the viewer's needs. A hook is the thing that tells the viewer very quickly, this is what the video is going to cover, but not by saying this is what the video is going to cover. Like, say that without saying that. Talk about getting them primed up, like, I want an encapsulation, like, this is going to explain. It's almost like taking if you had a really great 2-sentence description in your video, like bringing that to life in your opening shot of your video. Just let people know what it is that they're going to get there. Now, different types of niches can do it differently. That's one of the things you want to think about. Not all, if you're a music video, get right, music channel, and you're doing music videos, get right to the music video. Don't stop and go, hey, today we're going to show you my new music video. You don't have to do that. Get right to the thing, right? Value is important. But if you are doing something that's tutorials, anything that sets something up, an expectation, a cooking channel, a utility channel, a tutorial channel, anything like that, or anything in the way where someone might be watching and learning something or following along, let them know quickly that they're in the right place and reaffirm the value they can expect. So when they've clicked, you hit them right away with, you're in the right place. You're going to get exactly what we promised in the packaging, and let's get to it. Quickly, no intros, no, hey everybody, welcome back. Don't forget to, none of that. Right to the, tell them the thing, give them the hook, bring them in, get them excited. And if you have a great hook, then make sure that hook is got a compelling angle, right? Don't just say, well, today I'm going to show you how to install Windows 11, right? It was funny, I was talking to my buddy Iggy the other day, who was showing people how to do that. If you wanted to do a hook, like say the new Windows 11 is out and you're showing people how to install Windows 11. If I was going to build a hook, I wouldn't just say, the other, Windows 11 is a new product by Microsoft and it needs to be installed and there's some things you need to know. I'm going to walk you through how to install Windows 11 on your new PC. If it's like that, I'd be like, I'm out. I hate, the reason I started making tutorials the way I make them is because I hated other tutorials on YouTube. They were so boring. So I'd be like, I'd be starting off with, if you were talking about Windows 11 and you wanted to get a great hook, I'd say something like, Microsoft just put out Windows 11, and a lot of you are Windows 10 users, and you might be thinking to yourself, do I even need Windows 11? Should I even install it? Is this going to crash my computer, or can I just stick with what I have? Today I'm going to break down all of those questions and help you make a decision whether or not installing and updating to Windows 11 is right for you. Boom. Give them, talk to the viewer. Think about what's in their head. Think about what they might be thinking. Don't just give them the ingredients. Hype up the final product, right? Make sure that what they're thinking, you're speaking to what's inside their head, what they might be thinking, so you can pull them in, right? Albie says Windows 11 is great. I haven't updated yet. I just had to do all the updates to my computer because it's to make sure that it could download it. I just haven't done it yet. I'm going to read this up, Brozard says, but some people are doing the intros and people keep watching. That's true. But who is that you're referencing, right? This is one of the worst mistakes you can make, Brozard, is to go, well, other people do it. Never, ever do something just because you saw someone else do it. When you make decisions about your content, it's not about other people. What if other people are doing it and it's doing really well for their channel, that's good for them, but you have all this great data that you can go into your analytics and see if people are clicking away. And if they're clicking away while you're doing your intro, lose the intro. Because it's not about other people. It's about you and the audience you're trying to reach. Not all channels are created equal, right? And a lot of bigger channels do it as part of a branding play. That was one of the reasons I said, is your channel bigger than 50,000 subscribers? Because if you've got 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a million subscribers, yeah, there's branding plays. You're trying to get your brand out there because you're going to get your content put in front of a lot of people as you grow that community. A lot of new people come along, and you may want to introduce the brand because it's a bigger thing. You're starting to do a bigger branding play than just trying to grow your channel, right? And a lot of us who are smaller channels, I've got a little over 200,000 subscribers, and I still consider myself a very small channel. We're all trying to just grow our channel. That's the goal. Keep getting the thing established. So what I'm talking about today is your edit and what to put in your edit to really focus on keeping the viewer watching, right? Packaging gets them watching. Now we want to keep them watching. We don't want to push them away. And speaking about that whole hook, right? So you get a great hook. One of the things that you want to think about is right here, your audio. Like, how does your audio sound? What's something that can really push a viewer away is if your microphone sounds crappy. And you don't have to have a super expensive microphone like this. You don't have to have all of this gear. All you have to have is a somewhat decent microphone. A $20 microphone can get the job done. And just make sure you're positioning it correctly. My friend Marlon at White Noise Studios just put a video out about how to position your mic properly to get the best audio from it so it doesn't sound bad. Those are things you really want to think about, making sure your audio sounds good, making sure it's clear, right? That it's listenable. Always be unique. That's what people are searching for, something new. I agree. I think that being unique is very important, but also consider this. I'm not specifically unique. I teach people how to make, how to edit video and grow YouTube channels. There's millions of people are doing it. But you are right in the sense that I try to be a little different in the way I approach it. My look is different. My background when it's turned on. is a little different. Hold on, let me magically light the candles. There we go. It's a little different, right? I'm always trying to think about how I can, man, I hope those don't burn the place down. I can always turn them off. If we have a fire, just yell fire. We'll turn them off. Always think about how you can, bring your own personality into something. Be a little different with the way you do things. Because I think that's really important to, really reaching people. Your audio is hugely important. I spend more time working on my audio than anything else to make sure it's crisp. It sounds full. It sounds clear. Because I've grew up listening to, radio stations when I was a kid. So I'm used to listening to DJs and having a really crisp audio that's really pleasant to listen to for a longer period of time. Roland says, hi, Daniel. How do you thank subscribers and people that are getting interactive with your content via commenting on your videos? Do you quote them in comments or a thank you video? No, because a thank you video doesn't serve your greater target audience. A thank you video only serves a few people. The best way to thank somebody for leaving a comment is get right into that comment and reply to it. 100%. I always say get in there and talk to them. Speak to your audience in the comments section. Most of you know if you leave a comment on my videos, I get right in there and you'll usually get an answer from me because I spend a lot of time in there talking directly to you as individuals, not trying to blanket say thank you to a bunch of people and who cares about that video, right? It's not specific to anybody. I like being specific and talking to individual people. So that audio thing we're talking about, think about how you can improve your audio. One of the things that's really funny, is I think a lot of people get their audio wrong on a multitude of levels in terms of leaving too much in, and we'll get to that. But performance is a one thing. When you think about what you're doing on screen, when you're filming yourself, when you're actually recording your audio, how many of you guys have ever asked yourself, can I do it better? How many of you have gotten through something that you technically said all the words right and it's all there and stopped and went, can I do that better? I should do it all over again and say that all over again because it was a little too dull or it didn't quite roll smoothly. Anybody ever do that? Do you guys ever stop and really think Steve straight stuff all the time? Always. ST Houston says, yep, always. Always, always. Right here, Amar with another great super chat. Daniel, I have Filmora 10 I've had from Filmora. Do I need to upgrade to Pro? No, we're not really talking about Filmora today. Thank you for the super chat. I'll answer that question. Now, Pro is a completely different software. It's not an upgrade. It's a completely different software for people who don't like Filmora and wanted something different. So Filmora made a different product, completely different, no ease of use. They don't even update that one nearly as much as they do Filmora 10. You like Filmora 10? Stick with it. Even though the latest 10.7 was like a train wreck. They're fixing that, I guess. It got a little crazy. Dolls Will Be Dolls. Great. That's a great channel name. I have asked, can I do it better? Yeah. I think a lot of people don't stop and asking if you can do it better is one thing. Stopping and saying, I'm willing to throw out everything I just filmed because it's not good enough, because I can do better, is something I think too many creators are afraid to do. But I put all that time in, I'll just put it up. I'm a huge fan of, I've got hundreds of videos that never made it past the edit. I was in the edit, I was working on them, I was really pulling them apart, and I went, it's just not here, it's just not there. So I may have spent, 6, 8, 10 hours on something and went, no, it's just not good enough, it's not good enough. And I've said no to it because I know I can do it better, and I'll come back to it. I'll go, let me leave this alone. So I have more things that like This Is Tom's World says, I constantly ask myself if I can do something better, resulting in a lot of retakes. Yeah, I do that in the moment. How many of you, I do this all the time, like where I'll say a line opening up a video and say, if you're wondering how to turn yourself into annoying orange using Filmora, let's say that's the thing I'm making the video about. I'll go, nope, let me do it. And I'll have 12, 15 takes of me saying it different ways and trying to get the flow right and trying to work it out. I know what I want to say, but I want to make it feel authentic. So I'll do that time and time again. I suck, so yes, I have to make a few takes. We all do that, breakaway bites. We all do that where we're trying to get a better take. It is a tricky thing to do. But this is a great one right here. At-home songwriting with Chad Shank. I just redid a full 20-minute video because it wasn't good. That is one of the best things I've heard in this conversation. Taking someone admitting to go, listen, I spent all this time. it just wasn't up to par. I know I can do better. And I really, really think that you have to think that way. Like, and I don't think like, don't spend so much time on a video that you're trying to remake it and not put something out. Put it aside, move on to something else and go, I know I can do that better. I'm going to leave that alone for the moment, but I'm going to come back to that. I want to come back to that and see if I can reapproach it. Maybe I need a fresh set of eyes. A lot of times, eyes and ears, if you just walk away from something for 24 hours and come back, a lot of times, even the clips you already have, you realize, oh, I could have edited this better. I've got some extra clips I cut out. I should have left that in. I should have removed this and reworked it, right? That's the can you do it better. This is a big important part here, the pacing. How your video moves from the start to the end. Pacing is one of the most important things I think people forget about. Here we are here and I'm talking live, right? I'm sitting here just talking to you guys straight through, a live stream. I put it out and just do better every next video. It's not a bad thing, but in the edit there, don't be afraid to ask yourself, don't just put it out and go, that was close enough. Don't be afraid to go look at your content while you're editing and going, yeah, man, I can edit, that could be better. Or while you're filming, like think about what's coming out of your mouth or what you've been capturing or what you're performing, because not everybody's doing talking head videos. And you go, can this be better? Can I get a better B-roll section here? Can I do something here that makes this a little better? Because it feels flat. That pacing is so important. Pacing is your ability to keep things moving. Pacing, you don't even realize how important pacing is, right? There's a lot of reasons why my live streams and a lot of people's live streams don't do as well as edited content. Because it's like this, it's one thing, it's me coming right at you. But even little change-ups can make things different. If I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm trying to make a point, and I think it's really important, and then you might see the camera angle change, that can visually change things up enough so that as I make the point to you, or you, that subtle change can do visual change-ups, can really affect the way the flow is and stop that viewer and go, whoop, something just changed. I didn't lose the flow, but visually it changed and kept them watching. So thinking about that pacing, thinking about visual change-ups, making sure that audio's on point, really, 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 really important. Hey, is that my boy Brian? Mr. Brian G. Johnson in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Brian's a guy who spends a lot of time doing this very same thing, really breaking down like how he's got his look, how the set looks behind him, how his audio sounds, how his camera looks, the lighting, the depth of field. All of these things are really important in your edit. When you're sitting there and you're looking at something, don't be afraid to take a look at your content and say, you don't have to have, I've said it, you don't have to have all of this. You don't have to have all of this. But what you can do is look at what you have and say, Brian is a perfect example. We'll say, what's one thing I can do better? Let me focus on one thing I think I can improve. That I don't have to spend a ton of money. I just think I can make better. Maybe I can get my pacing a little better. Maybe when I do my visuals, maybe I can bring in a little B-roll. I can change it up a little bit. I can change some of the angles. I can make it look a little better, make it sound a little better. Because you got to remember, once people have clicked and they're watching the video, that's just half the battle. You got to keep them watching. Keeping them watching is like one of the hardest things to do. So visual change-ups, super, super important. Shrinking Sharon says, Sharon, you still there? You keep shrinking on me. Daniel, why do some sectors in YouTube do only going live? So like, why do some channels lean on live more often? Some of them really lend themselves to that. Like there's some music channels will do that where they constantly stream music because it lends itself to the needs of the viewer. Think about the viewer, right? If a viewer is interested in like lo-fi music or background music, I do this all the time. When I'm cooking outside and we're eating outside on my deck, like I'll bring out my Bluetooth speaker and I'll put on YouTube and I'll just run jazz music or some kind of music that I think is soothing, that's kind of like cool and ambient, and I'll let it play and on YouTube and I'll just let it run. So these sort of live channels that do that just play long, lengthy jazz music, I'll listen to those all the time. So for that viewer's needs, in my case, I want music to just keep going. Works out perfectly. Some guys like Sean Cannell, Think Media, they do stuff like they do a lot of their content where they'll go live. They have it all scheduled out. They have it all scripted out. They'll make the content. Then they'll go back and trim off the beginnings, trim off the end, pull out stuff that might make it feel like it's not as good for the replay, and they'll cull that down and trim the fat so that when the live stream goes up for the replay, that other stuff is missing. It's not like countdowns or beginnings. It's right into the thing. So they've multi-purposed that live stream in a way that it's great during the live portion, and then it's really great during the replay as well, because they treat it like a show. But on the live portion, they talk to people before they go live, and they go, okay, you know, we're about to do this, and they talk, they take questions, and then they jump into the show. So that's one of those things that's really important for trying to keep things moving. Think about intentionality. Live streams are great. Shorts are great. But even in shorts, like if you're making shorts, think about that. If you're making shorts, you have absolutely no time to waste. You can't take an extra second of people's time because they're supposed to be shorts. More so than regular longer content. Super, super, super important to pay attention to that stuff. Yeah, that's one of those things. There's a long video, one popular song we'll play for a full hour. Sometimes that's true. Yeah, people absolutely do that. Is Viper in here? Did I miss Viper? There he is. Fire. Viper, good to see you, pal. Yeah, I think that things like music can lend themselves to longer replays and things like that. So think about intentionality. You should really think about what the viewer on the other end is expecting when they click on that. So after they've clicked, what are they getting served? If they were like, yeah, I want to have 2 hours of nonstop streaming lo-fi music that I'm going to play in the background. Maybe you're having a Halloween party, you want spooky Halloween sounds. You go onto YouTube and you go, here's an entire live stream of nothing but live spooky haunted sounds. You go, perfect. I'm going to turn that on. I'm put through the speakers. I'm going to let it play. That would be perfect for a Halloween party. We're having a Halloween party at my house tonight. You're all invited. So that's one of the things you want to think about, you know, like the use for the viewer. What are the viewer's needs? What do they expect from that? Pappy's TV says, so Daniel, do you mean that we shouldn't say that they should subscribe, like, and share? Leave a comment at the beginning of the video? If so, what about the ending? Great question. Great question. No, I don't think you should. I don't think you should ask anything of the viewer before you've given them a ton of value first. And when you do ask something of the viewer, think about importance. What's the most important thing you should ask a viewer? Let me ask in the chat. When someone is watching your video, okay, watching your current video, what's the single most important thing that you should ask from them if they're watching a video of yours right now? Give me answers in the chat. Shout out what you think is the most important thing, that if you could only get the viewer to do one thing, what's the one thing you should get them to do out of all the possible options of something they could do? Create world peace would be great. Jay Burns says share. Sharing is important. If someone shares your video, that is really important. Likes, Albie says like the video. We've got watch the whole thing. I think that's important, but I'm saying if they're already going to watch the whole thing, I think telling somebody to watch the whole thing while they're watching is probably really tricky. Just make great content and they will watch the whole thing. Let me see. Let's see. Here we go. And this is one. Subscribe. We think that a lot of people think asking them to subscribe is important, but the real answer is in here. Watch another video. J-Rock Gaming nailed it. Watch another video. Watching another video. Nitro 38.99. Watch other videos. Yep. Jay-Z right here. Boom. Watch another video. The single most important thing you should be getting the viewer to do after they've watched, if you're going to ask them one thing, let's say they've gotten to the end of your video and they enjoyed it. If they're at the end, that probably means they enjoyed it. Or I don't want to say enjoyed. They were satisfied by it. The only thing I think you should ask for as a smaller channel is for them to potentially watch another relevant, high-performing piece of content. Say to them something like, let's take me for example. If I've shown you how to do something, maybe using Filmora, at the end I might say, hey, if you want to learn more editing tips and tricks using Filmora, check out the video that's on screen now, or the one I'll link down below. You know why that's important? Because that's what YouTube uses to decide whether or not to recommend my content to more people. Are people watching? Can I get them watching, keep them watching, and get them to watch more content? Way more important than likes or comments or subscribe, leaving a comment, all that stuff. What happens is you think it's important. People will naturally do that if they like your content. If they like your content, when I see a channel and I love the content, I subscribe. When I see a video that just cracks me up or it's awesome or makes a great point or teaches me something, I get on the comments section and I leave a comment. Now, The number one goal is to get them watching the video that they're on now. Get them watching to the end. But if you're going to ask them to do anything, try to push them towards another piece of content. The single most important thing you can do, push them towards another piece of content. Forget about the likes, shares, subscribes. Those will happen. But if they just go, okay, well, if you ask them to do too many things, they're not going to do them all. They're not going to like, subscribe, just like, man, maybe I'll hit the like button. You're better off saying, hey, if you liked what you saw here, get a video on screen in the end screen, or link one down below in the pinned comment or in the link in the description above the fold. That way you're pushing them towards more content, and you're doing the very thing that YouTube rewards, is giving positive traffic signals. If someone watches one piece of content, then goes on to watch another piece of content, that means they have two pieces of content in their recent watch history. So they're more likely to get served more of your content tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow. And when people go on to watch another piece of content, it sends positive traffic signals. And YouTube says, when a new viewer comes along and watches your video, they go, what did the last person do? What did the last person watch next after they watched this video? Well, if you push other viewers who are watching this video onto another piece of content, that's positive traffic data that can get that YouTube can pick up on and interpret and take action upon. A lot of people went on to watch this other video. Why? Because you pushed them that way. You didn't ask them to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever. You said, hey, if you learned anything here today and you want to learn a little bit more, click on the video I've got on screen now. Boom. If it was your cooking channel, right? If you want to learn more on how to make more delicious 20-minute dinner recipes, I'll leave click on the video you got on screen now, or the one I'll pin down below, right? Send them to another piece of content. Really, really, really important. All the rest will come. The rest will come. That's the single most important thing you should do. In that, and then let's talk. So we've talked about kind of like the beginning, right? The intros, the hooks, not asking, not treating people like they're a community. Don't talk to them like you're talking to a crowd. You're talk to them one-on-one. Not welcome back to the channel. Hey, everybody. Hey, TikTok. Hey, YouTube. Talk to the people. Hey, how you doing? Today, I'm going to show you something that might have value, right? Get into it. And we've talked about the end, right? When you get to the end, don't waste time doing all this like, comment, share, subscribe. And listen, I should put a caveat. I don't mind right in the middle of a video when it's right at the coolest part that I'm really in. If a little thing pops up and says, don't forget to like, it doesn't say anything. It's just a little lower third. Or don't forget to subscribe. Just a little nudge. Like, hey, in the middle somewhere, no words, doesn't stop the video, it just comes up over it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm cool with that, because I think sometimes people do forget to like. Like if you're watching this live stream now, how many people have liked it? Well, how many likes do we have? Has everybody hit the like button? Yeah, a quick little reminder doesn't hurt for a little engagement. But I would probably put that lower on the list. Really focus on getting them watching and then keeping them watching and funneling them towards more content. And that's what you want to do in your edit. Think about, okay, I got to get to this part. I got to trim out this fat. Trimming the fat. Whew, man, that's all of it. Hey, Wallow J, thank you for the $5 super chat. That's an awesome looking Nike right there, by the way. I appreciate that, my friend. Trimming the fat is so huge, so huge. Some gas for your Harley. Have a good ride, man. The temperatures are getting cold fast here, Chasey. I may not have a lot of rides left in me, but $1.99 takes me pretty far. It's a motorcycle. Thank you for that, my friend. Trimming the fat. If you have lengthy sections and you've got too much going on in that middle, we've talked about the beginning, we talked about the end in your video edit. The middle, trim the fat. Any place where you have anything in there that shouldn't be in there, doesn't need to be in there, absolutely, is like, oh my gosh, this has to be here. Take it out. Don't waste time in the middle. If you've ever listened to my videos, and I'm assuming that some of you here may have seen my videos, if you ever pay attention, especially to my highest performing videos, you won't hear me breathe. I literally use noise gates and video editing tricks to pull my breaths out. If I'm ever in between a sentence and I say something and then stop and breathe, I trim those out. I'll either duck the audio, I'll cut it out. Because that's how crazy I am about making sure it sounds right. I don't want to distract somebody by me breathing. I don't want to even waste the breath it takes. I edit those right out, like either with a noise gate that, if you know what a noise gate is in your digital audio workstation, basically anything below a certain volume, like a small breath, it closes down the mic input so you don't even hear the breath. It just goes quiet and then opens back up. I think that those breaths and stuff, for me, throw me off. And when I listen to people on the radio, I never hear them going like, and welcome back to the channel. That breath is like, no. So I take those right out. And yeah, wow. I'm insane like that. I mean, I spend a lot of time editing the audio. You take my breath away. We need the drum roll. I got to get the drum roll in place for that. That was excellent. 3D printed debris says $20 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that. Thanks for all the Filmora tips. I spent about 30 hours this week using your lessons on my videos. You the man. Hey, I'm glad those are helpful. I really am. I've done like well over 100 Filmora videos showing every possible scenario I could think of how to use the software. I think I pretty much hit on all the marks there. I'm really trying to focus on not only teaching you tips, right? Because like a great, like you said, like the tips are really helpful to get you figuring certain things out in the software. But I'm really hoping to bring some of that stuff more towards, well, how do you actually edit the video for structure to get people watching and keep them watching? So don't be surprised if you start seeing videos from me that don't just talk about like, well, how to use the dissolve feature, but different ways to use it in your video structure to keep the video moving along properly. I think that's an underserved thing. And again, thank you very much for that $20 super chat, 3D printed debris. I really appreciate it. No ASMR, right? That's that heavy. If you're an ASMR channel, yes, you should probably leave the breathing in because people are into that. But yeah, that breathing noise can be distracting. Even in live streams, I have a gate on my mic that if I sit back, it closes down the video so that it won't make any sound, well, any dramatic sound. I hate that when I can hear people sniff, slurp their whiskey in their video, right? Exactly. Speaking to your audience, right? You would go, if I want to see someone taste the whiskey, if you see the slurp, it's like, that's just, it throws you off. So really important, think about what you can trim. Another thing that I'm working on more on my lives, but I do it all the time. Ums and ahs. You've heard me do it. When you do that pause, when you're trying to gather your thoughts, constantly thinking about how to get that out. Trimming the fat begins with those things. If you take long pauses, get them out. Jump cuts, I just missed that. It went by. Jump cuts, are they good? I like jump cuts. Let me see if I can find it. There's a couple of questions in here, but one of them was asking about jump cuts and if they're, what do we think about them? I think YouTube is a different medium than the other ones, right? If you were watching a Marvel movie and you were watching this dramatic scene where Tony Stark is breathing his last breath and having this, really dramatic scene, and it kept jumping back and forth, you'd lose the pacing, right? You're trying to focus that viewer and get them into the moment. But YouTube's a different thing. It's no time to waste. People are like, just give me the thing. Give me the thing. So I love, especially talking head jump cuts. Trim it out. Trim it out. How important is background music in videos? Great question, Nat English. I think they're as important as the viewer finds them to be. What I find a lot of times when I do talking head videos, what happens is I think if you're just talking, I think that can be improved by having something underneath it. For example, I'm working on some spots because we have two great sponsors that help me bring this live content to the channel and help you guys out. Those two sponsors are StreamYard and Spreadshop. So I've been trying to work on some quick spots that I can remind people and thank our sponsors. And I actually play the music behind it. So I'll say something, but I'll actually write a song and put it underneath because I think it helps move it forward. You tell me, listen to this and tell me if you think the music helps this move along.
This live stream is sponsored in part by StreamYard, live streaming made simple, and by Spreadshop, the #1 resource for all of your print-on-demand needs.
So there's an instance where I said what I was going to say. I tried to make it smooth and understandable. And I thought playing some music underneath it, grabbed my acoustic guitar, wrote a little bit to kind of move it along. I felt like it helped it. Well, first of all, I have to thank the sponsors who do this every week. We love them. StreamYard and both Spreadshop. I've got links below if either one of you want to try to use StreamYard to live stream and get the live streams like I'm doing right here, or interested in making merch that you can either, sell on your channel or you can create for events. Spreadshop is the way to go. So I like that kind of thing. I like that thing. Daniel is the EF Hutton. When DB talks, people listen. So do I. Thanks for being awesome, Daniel. $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Blaine. I appreciate that. Albie says too loud. Right. So that might be for you too loud. That was more of a commercial. When I do a longer one, I keep the music lower. Almost every one of my videos has music in the background. If you've seen any of my videos, you've seen music in the background. And when they're longer, I turn them down. When they're more of a spot, I bring it up a little bit louder because it's a spot. I want to plug and hit it more like bring attention to it. Always like your video tips. Nothing But Drums, $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. I got to check your channel out. Nothing But Drums. Count me in. I need to learn drums. It's one of the instruments I'm not good at. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Yeah, I think that music can be really helpful. It may not be everyone's taste. Some people just, think about the video. If you're doing, I think music adds atmosphere and it adds attitude. If you want something to be upbeat, one of the ways you can do that is to bring upbeat music behind it. If you are doing something that's sad and solemn and down key, if your content is about how to deal with like a loss in your family, yeah, that music can make a huge difference in even just talking about it. I think anytime you've seen a movie, anytime you've seen a documentary, they always use a lot of music in there to make things flow, to get you into the story of it, the feeling of it, the emotion of it. So I think music can be really helpful if you use it right. Think about how it's applied, how long the thing is, like was mentioned, how loud it is, right? In a quick 2, 3 second, 5 second spot, I pop it up like a commercial, bang, 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 in, out. But in my stuff that's longer, I'll do something very low and pull it way down so it doesn't overpower the vocal. It's just in there. If you listen to Peter McKinnon, go watch a Peter McKinnon video. He cranks his music, cranks it. And he does a great job. And he also uses 6, 7, 8, 12 songs in a video, not one song. He doesn't just turn it on and let it run. I do the same thing. I cut up the song. I'll rearrange a song, even if I've just downloaded it and licensed it. I'll cut it up and rearrange it and go, I'm going to use that part. I'm going to change it. I'm going to loop it. I'm going to change the frequencies of it. I'm going to slow it down, speed it up. I do a lot of changing of the music to help set the pace for what I'm doing. So that's one of those things you should pay attention to. The breaths, the ums, the ahs, linksy sections, adding music can all be really important. One of the things you want to think about too is topic fragmentation. If you're making a video that's supposed to be about one thing and you get off on a tangent, sometimes I do that in these live streams. Someone will ask me a question and they'll want to say, well, how do you do VFX effects in Filmora when I'm here talking about why your videos, people may not be watching them. We're talking about video structure. Someone, if I get into a discussion that doesn't serve that, then I'm fragmenting the topic that I'm talking about. And that happens sometimes in videos. I see people start talking to the audience and then they get fragmented. They go off in the wrong direction. And it's like, oh, I wasn't really here for that, or they spend too long. I try not to do that. Do you use your own music in videos? I do. So I write all of the stuff you hear, like not every video, all the newer stuff is. Live streams too, like everything I start with, that's all me. I wrote it and I played it, like this stuff here. So all of that is me. I write them, I have all this, thankfully I have all kinds of amps and gear and recording equipment that I do just that. I write the music because I want it to stand out and sound different. So that's one of the things that's really important. When we talk about those, let me talk about one last thing here that's really important. Your outros. When you're talking about your outros, we were saying that same thing. A lot of people start thinking like, when the video starts wrapping up, they'll do things like, well, hey, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something here today. And they start doing those things. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm not a fan of those outros. Those endings, I think sometimes people take way too long, or they leave a really long outro screen. They say a lot of stuff and then finally they put an end screen. I'm a big fan of, if you want to get more people to watch your videos, make sure the ones who are watching it for a long period of time, because it's going to help it get recommended to other people. So you want to make sure that the editing of that smooth, snappy, get right into it, move through, trim the fat, take out any of that weird, make sure you have a strong hook, take out anything in the middle, the ums and the ahs and the lengthy sections. Watch your pacing, watch how your audio sounds, watch your visual, watch your backdrop, make sure things look good. Don't be afraid to change the scenes up so things are moving. Using B-roll, different camera angles can really keep them moving and keep it interesting to the viewer. But another thing that's really important is that when you get to the end, when that wraps up, when you're at to the point where it's like, listen, I've just given my last big tip or done that one big thing that I'm on topic, the only thing you should do is go right to the point where you say, hey, if you enjoyed what you saw here, click on the video I've got on screen now, the one I'll link down below. Push them right towards another piece of content. Don't ever give someone an idea that the video is ending, because you're giving them permission to leave. If they get the feeling, yep, we're at the end, it's like having the credits roll. Well, thank you for all showing up today. I really appreciate it. If you say that, you're giving people permission to leave. And guess what happens in video structure if you've included something that gives the viewer permission to leave? Any guesses? Spoiler alert. They leave. They leave because they go, it's over. We're at the end. I can go now. I got what I needed. So you never want to do that. You really want to drop it right there and just go bang. We're at the end. Hey, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, click on the video that's on screen now, the one I'll link down below, and hit them with the next thing that's relevant and has decent performance metrics, right? That's what you should do because they will absolutely leave. They are gone. You got it, Jessica Compton. They will split. You want to make sure that you, while you still have them there, push them towards another piece of content, and that's it. And leave that on the end screen for, 8, 10 seconds, whatever makes sense. I like about 8. I think 8 works. A lot of times people will say, like, I don't like using end screens because I watch my audience retention drop off at that point. Well, yeah, what do you think happens when people click your end screens? Your audience retention drops off at that point because they go to another video. That's good. We want to see that audience retention drop right when the end screen hits because that means you can actually track the data and see how many people are clicking your end screen and follow that. You're going to expect that dip at the end, knowing that you've put an end screen there, and that's the effect. If it's doing what it should, then you're going to see that retention graph dip. But think about that in your structure. When you're structuring your video, don't leave all that stuff in the end that makes it feel like it's ending. Just get right to that last point. You've said the thing, you've done the thing, you've wrapped up, you've shown the meal you just made, and that's how you make a beautiful chicken piccata. And while you're holding that up, go right. You can use things like voiceovers and layering. Don't feel like you have to do one thing and then the next thing. If you just made a beautiful chicken piccata and you're holding up the perfect pictures of the camera spinning around that thing, and it's showing all the kind of the great angles and how wonderful that meal looks, that's when you can say, if you want to learn more fantastic 20-minute dinner recipe meals, click on the video, and then you put your end screen up while that last thing is spinning. Combine elements so that there can be more than one thing happening. Don't feel like you have to stop to have something else happen. Think about how you can layer things together in your edit that keep that flow going, that don't ever have a minute of downtime, even at the very end. You'll see on my videos a lot of time, I'll shrink myself off to the side and be talking still, and then have another video pop up, and I'll wrap up the video while I'm still shrunk down on screen, and I have the end screen up. I'm already pushing towards another one. So I don't wait till it's over and then put it. I kind of have things happen at once, and having those things overlay and all occurring at the same time, really great way to keep the pacing together and keep people watching. All right. Listen, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for the super chats today. I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to go back and make sure that this is chaptered. So if you guys want to find any points in here, if you may have come in late, or anybody watching in the replay can find some of these sections. If you have any questions specifically about structure and pacing and how to get your video really engaging, drop them in the comments on the replay here afterwards, and I'll be sure to come down there and make sure I answer all the questions that you guys have. All right. Thank you again for hanging out. I hope you guys have an excellent Sunday, and I'll catch you all next week. Peace.